go really, really basic to begin with. If my opponent has his frames in, right? So let's talk about easy ways to kill the frames. Right, so one of the things I like to do is I'll come through here and I'll either A, grab the back of the shoulder, so it's kind of like a talon grip, or B, if I got a guy that's got a pretty solid bench press, I'm okay with getting my throat compressed. It doesn't bug me that much. So I will actually hook their elbow with my arm and put it behind my head to apply pressure, and I'm squeezing his arm together. It's very easy to keep a joint collapsed when it's completely contracted, if that makes sense, right? So like if we take away the range of motion, same thing with the legs. Like one of the easiest ways to stifle butterfly guard is to shove their heels all the way into their butt. They have to create room to get power. So if I go here and grab onto my head, it's very difficult for somebody to pull away. The next thing I like to do is I use my inside leg. A lot of guys, basic jiu-jitsu like 101, I've seen this in books and stuff, or other tutorials. They'll come here, they'll grab the back of the arm and they'll pull it and baseball slide through and then try to like set back up. I'm not a big fan of that because I'm not like incredibly strong for my size. So if I go to here and he wants his arm down, he's got his frame in, and I'm like trying to rip this up, like my one arm versus his whole back is going to be a difficult thing, right? It's very hard to get people's framework to move. So when I come here, one of the things that I like to do is either A, I'll take my top leg, I'll kick it straight back, I'll come in and I'll use my knee to drive up and underneath the elbow, or B, if he's like keeping constant pressure here, so like I can't get my knee around his arm, he's keeping constant pressure in my hip, I'll push the head off to the side, then I will switch my hips and drive my knee underneath his arm, and then when I bring my leg back over, I'm not having to use my arm strength at all. I'm keeping his head up off the ground so that it's harder for him to keep his back contracted. So when I switch my legs over, it's my body weight driving his arm up, not me picking his arm up. That makes sense? So that's more just like a footnote there. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and work on clearing the frames. I hadn't planned on that being like a singular technique, but we'll start there. All right, so we'll work on clearing or trapping frames. 1, 2, 3. Our guys have their frames in, and let's talk about, really, I mean, we can start attacking things, like I can punch for subs or like try to get over in the mount and stuff like that, but realistically speaking, I want to at least try to clear the frame that's on my hip, because this one we can manipulate to our advantage. This one down here, there's really not a whole lot of manipulation to our advantage we can do. So using one of the ways that we talked about, let's go ahead and we can clear this. I pick up on the head, right? Make sure you do that. I pick up on the head on purpose. Slide my hips through. When I hit my switch, you do not need to hold on to the head anymore at this point because our body's crushing the arm across the face, okay? From here, when I center back up for like kind of like a 45-degree cross-side, I can go 2-on-1 on this arm and really cramp down on him, okay? When I go 2-on-1 on this arm, I can drop my chest a little bit, reach over top, and pin to the mat. I always pin to the mat. Grab my own wrist. As I come through, my elbow settles to the neck. Are you already tapping? Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'll loosen up a little bit. So this is a pretty tight sub, as you guys can see, especially if you got everything compressed really tight. So when I get to here, I want you guys to think about it like revving a motorcycle. So I'll come here, my wrist rev like a motorcycle, and we get the pretty quick tap. So one more time. One of the ways that we talked about, we'll clear here. So I pick up on the head, I punch my hip through. Again, as I switch my feet and do my scissor, I don't need to hold onto the head because my body's crushing the arm into the neck. I go 2-on-1, weight down, on top, pin to the mat, grab my own wrist. He's already tapping, sorry.
Yeah, it's really tight.
If your elbow gets down, if they have a little bit more relaxed shoulders, we come here and we, 1, 2, 3, rev like a motorcycle. Questions, comments? All right, one. So let's say I get, we'll go ahead and start from here, right? Pick up on the head, hit my switch, drive the arm over the head, I let go. I get my 2-on-1, I get my pressure down, and let's just say for argument's sake, I start getting right here, and this is a real strong dude, and he's able to punch out and get his arm over my shoulder. Okay, so here's where other options start coming in. So we've created a hub, right? They got out of one submission, but we're gonna put them in another one now. So kind of like what we were doing last week, I'm gonna take my arm, gonna block the hip, I'm going to punch it around his rib cage, right? So I'm up on my toes, I'm crushing the lungs. Be nice when we're in class, okay? Got to here. Now I can walk this forward, grab on top, come in, and we've got a secondary key lock. So move over here real quick. When I get to my secondary key lock, the easiest way to do this I've found is to not try to fight force with force. It's like when you're sitting on somebody's head, right? And you're like trying to deadlift their arm up. If you got a strong dude, it's really hard to pull somebody's arm up, all right? Even a not strong person. And when you're sitting here trying to deadlift somebody whose arms collapse to their body, it's very difficult. So I do a give and a take. So I give inside, then I take back up and open. You good?
He panicked.
I
would have panicked too.
Sorry, I'll be a little gentler. So relax on me. So when I get to here, instead of trying to deadlift this up and take it back, I punch and then I rip it back. Okay? Be careful when you're ripping. We don't want to hurt our toys. Don't break your buddies. All right, any questions? 1, 2, 3. And I get past the legs. Oh, and the arm, and a couple of you guys was doing this earlier, by the way. You guys were hipping through, pulling up on the head like you're supposed to, and hipping through, and then leaving your arm right here. You can't submit somebody with one arm. Not this particular submission anyway. So when you guys hip through, we pick the head up, right? So that they can't bridge, or at least they can't bridge very easily when we're hitting our hip switch, okay? But when I come through here, my arm goes around the head so that my body's squishing their arm into them. And if they have the frame here, we go 2-on-1. So what we were dealing with was as I start going 2-on-1, he punches out. And I'm like, okay. So the first sub we covered was pulling them up on their side. But if I come here and he's staying tight and flat, and I'm like, oh crap, this is a really strong dude. So there's a couple of ways we can go about this. But for right now, we're gonna hit the arm bar. So I'm still staying tight right here. I like grabbing onto something as I go to pop up because it kind of helps control the hip. You can grab the pants, you can grab the belt. I kind of like the pants. I come up to here, as I rotate, I hug. I'm hugging his arm and pulling his body with me so that he can't get away, right? Because the hitchhiker is the easiest way to get out of here in transition. So if I'm holding onto the pants, I'm not gonna say it can't, strong guys might be able to break your grip, but it's very difficult for them to run their feet away and hitchhiker out. So I'm here, once I let go of the pants, knees are together, and I'm rocking back, and I'm hugging the arm with like my whole body, keeping it tight to me. And if you notice, there's a lot of room between my chest, he's fully extended right here, between my belly and his arm. So if I was up here, and I'm going back, he's already fully extended. So everything else from there is just extra. Okay. One more time. Right from Jump Street. From here, right? If we want to keep pressure on the elbow, we can. I pick up on the head, shoot my hip through. I let go of the head as I come over. I go 2-on-1, but he punches out. Okay, I block the hip. I start my rotation, but he stays flat. I'm like, okay, this guy's strong. I grab the pants, pop up, right? All my weight's on him. I rotate, I pull him with me. I'm hugged up nice and tight. Keep my knees together. We start rocking back, and there's our sub.